Both parties have failed to hold the public's trust. Donald Trump is not the only source of our problems. He and the rise of the MAGA movement, I believe, are a symptom of a failed system. So as we plan for what comes after this administration, we cannot afford to be nostalgic for what was, in fact, a flawed status quo.
It's the comeback that nobody asked for. It's the comeback kid that has been unsuccessfully aborted, not once, but twice. How many times can one person face rejection? How many times can one cackling yenta achieve huge embarrassing failure? I know the originator of the term huge embarrassing failure, Bomani Jones. I know he has set an unprecedented record for the number of times a failure can fail. I know ambitious failures have dreams of eclipsing that number and taking Bobo's prestigious crown of failure. But I cannot think of anyone, and I mean anyone, who is clamoring for cackling Cam Harris to publicly humiliate herself again. And I know for damn sure that doofus Democrats have no desire to see cackling Cam 2.0. Besides the fact that Cam Harris is guaranteed to lose, the main reason Democrats are in a panic, the main reason they don't want to see the Duchess of Diversity running for president again, Cam Harris represents the exact opposite of what Democrats have been sorely missing in their party for years. One of the reasons Democrats have been so unappealing, they don't have strong male leadership. Hell, they've spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to convince their men that they're actually women. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying the fact that Donald Trump is a leader. When Don makes a decision, that decision is final. Now, has he been perfect? Has every decision that Don's made been the right decision? No, but the dude said, he promised that he would solve the problem at the southern border. He's done it. Now he seems to be focusing on the most serious threat to the future of America, political Islam. God willing, next Christmas we will be celebrating the fact that Ilhan Omar and her alleged brother-husband are living back in Somalia. Of course, a lot of Don's accomplishments, they have been completely overlooked or overshadowed because conservative media has been fighting with each other. You know, the biggest story in conservative media the last few weeks, it's been this conflict between Candace Owens and Turning Point USA. And now it seems to be between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. I see grown men on Twitter obsessing over this drama between two females. Last night, I see this dude without a shirt on, shirtless selfie guy. Some dude who thinks he's proving his masculinity by showing his man boobs. This dude is tweeting every 15-20 minutes, providing an up-to-the-minute recap of the drama between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. Ooh, Candace just said she had a productive meeting with Erica. Oh no! Candace said the Egyptians are building a pyramid on her roof. She's under attack! Grab my broom. I need to fly down there and save her. This dude sounded like my wife while she's watching the Real Housewives of Cedar Rapids. I wanted to tell him to grab a hold of his Johnson to remind himself that he's a man, but I was afraid that he would call it John A. The point is, the conservative movement has been fractured. Hasn't been destroyed, but it's been fractured, which gives doofus Democrats the perfect opportunity to take advantage. Now, to her credit, Cam Harris is seizing the opportunity. There has been no cackling. There's been no word salads with sprinkled turds. This time around, Cam Harris wants to be taken seriously. Problem is, no one asked for Cam to be the savior. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, talked about a legendary star in WWE quitting the company because of their supposed association with Donald Trump. This legend announced publicly that he was parting ways with the WWE. I guess he thought this would generate sympathy. I guess he thought that people would beg him to stay. Unfortunately, no one really seems to care. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Headline at Axios: Cam Harris stepping toward another White House run. This is great! Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! Unfortunately for Cam, the only one who seems thrilled about this news is her husband, Doug. My inside sources, they were able to obtain exclusive footage of Diversity Doug's reaction to the news that he could potentially be First Lady. Hey, look at me! I'm an uncoordinated dork! Over the last couple of weeks, Cam Harris has made moves that signal a run for the presidency in 2028. She's made moves that prove she is willing to make Doug's dreams come true. I want to be the first man that's named First Lady. Hate to break the news to you, Doug. Many believe that amazing first was accomplished back in January of 2009. Recently, Cam Harris extended the length of her book tour. During the early part of next year, Cam Harris will be visiting South Carolina, Jackson, Mississippi, also known as the ultimate shithole, Memphis. Cam will be making an appearance in Montgomery, Alabama. What do all of those cities have in common? A large percentage of black voters. Earlier this week, Cam appeared before the Democratic National Committee. They had their winter meeting in the People's Republic of California. Cam was escorted to the gala by her husband, Doug. Cam spent the meeting trying to convince donors that she could be the first female president. Doug spent the meeting sharing the latest baking secrets that he learned while watching Martha Stewart. It's not hard to understand why Cam Harris wants to run in 2028. According to early polls, Cam is the leading candidate in the Democratic primaries. If the Democratic primary was held today, Cam Harris would be the nominee. Now, of course, that doesn't mean shit. 2 years away from the primary, you could put Bob Barker on the ballot and he would be the leading candidate. The reason, though, that Democrats are in a panic: Cam Harris represents a very real problem. You see, if Democrats don't want to support Gabby Newsom, the governor and primary destroyer of the People's Republic of California, if Democrats didn't want to support Gabby, they would just tell him to piss off. Remember how dirty they did Bernard Sanders back in 2016? You guys remember that? Leading up to the primaries, Bernard looked like he was going to beat Hillary Clinton, but the leadership at the DNC, they didn't want Bernard and his lunatic socialist policies, so they put the machine behind Hillary Clinton and damn near ended Bernie's career. But with Cam Harris, it's a little bit more complicated. Democrats don't mind screwing over the white man. Hell, he lives a life of privilege. But with cackling Cam, they have to be very careful. If they refuse to support her, they would have to accuse themselves of mythical racism. They would accuse themselves of mythical misogyny. Plus, Cam Harris is standing in the way of their savior. Cam is standing in the way of their dream candidate, AOC LGBT. AOC, it's easy as LGB, it's simple as TQI. AOC, LGB boys can become girls. It is obvious that they are laying the foundation for Axios to run for president in the near future. They would be doing the same thing for Zorro Mamdani, but thankfully, Zorro was born in Uganda. AOC has built her career on being a woman of the people. Supposedly, AOC fights for the poor. She fights for the impoverished. She represents the underprivileged, which is an unoriginal concept because every communist for the last 200 years has been claiming to fight for poor people, claiming to fight poverty, yet somehow there are still billions of poor people in the world, and most of them are living in communist countries. Last week, AOC was busted using campaign money to fund an expensive trip to Puerto Rico. Now, what was she doing in Puerto Rico? Was she feeding starving children? Was she donating her time to the Red Cross? Was she volunteering at the animal shelter? As a matter of fact, you could make the case that AOC was in Puerto Rico to see the bunnies. According to reports, she allegedly spent $50,000 to see a bad bunny. Watch for yourself.
Campaign spending nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico on hotels, meals, and a venue rental at the arena where she was seen dancing it up during a Bad Bunny concert.
AOC's campaign spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico over just a few months, fueling criticism, of course, of a lawmaker who has built her entire brand railing against wealth, privilege, elites, and excess. Now, Federal Election Commission filings show that for the third quarter that AOC's campaign reported nearly $50,000 in spending in Puerto Rico just between the months of June and September. The filings list high-end hotels, meals and catering, and event-related expenses paid for, all with campaign funds.
$50,000 to see Bad Booger? $50,000 to watch and listen to something that almost resembles music? If you offered to pay me $50,000 to see Bad Booger, I would decline the offer and pick my own. Look, I know a lot of people are disillusioned right now with the Trumper. His handling of the Epstein files was atrocious. His response to the death of Rob Reiner, unpresidential. Like I said, Don Trump has been far from perfect, but let me just remind you, it could be much, much worse. His second term has been eerily similar to his first term. Remember in 2017, 2018, people were constantly complaining about mean tweets. 3 or 4 years later, those same people, they were begging for the return of mean tweets. I know the economy's not great. I know housing prices are unaffordable. But this time last year, we were dealing with those same problems, and we had no hope because Johnny B. Biden was literally asleep in the Oval Office. The southern border has been secured. Iran has been dismantled. And hopefully, we are witnessing the beginning stages of political Islam being kicked out of America. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.